welcome to this first lecture within Purchasing and Supply Chain Management. The lecture will be based on the book Purchasing and Supply Chain Management by Arjan and Weele, which you can also see on the literature list. We will go through pretty much all the chapters inside this book throughout the course, and starting off today with chapter number 1, the role of purchasing in the value chain. The program is outlined here. The role of purchasing inside the value chain we will have a look at, a little bit around definitions, more focus on the importance of purchasing to the business, new developments, and a short conclusion. The primary activities that the procurement organization or purchasing is supporting is, of course, inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and services, which you can see down in the bottom inside the box. Procurement functions should be able to meet the material requirements related to in and outbound logistics and operations. In other words, the central focus for a procurement department is to make sure that all the primary functions is having the materials that they require to do their daily operations. You can also put that in a different view, a Porter's view, where you can see here the value chain, and what you can see here is that procurement is situated as a supporting activity just on top of the primary activities, and that means that procurement is supporting all the different aspects of the primary activities. And at the end of the day, as you can see, is that there are supposed to be a margin. So procurement organizations are also there to really focus in on making sure that the company is having a value for money, and also, of course, having a strong cost focus, as the majority of a company's cost is quite often situated in the procurement department. Definitions. Here you have purchasing. There is a difference between the purchasing function and the purchasing department, and the key here is to understand that there will be purchasing functions taking place throughout the organization that is not necessarily done by the purchasing department. For example, is that different areas might be able to purchase from a catalog, and therefore they can open up a purchase order to a catalog supplier and thereby purchase from that approved vendor. But the critical part is that the purchasing department has set up the agreements and therefore have selected a approved vendor and have strong agreements and control over the approved vendor list. Another view of the definition of the concept is that there is a little bit of language difference between how you view it. But here you can see the blue boxes. You can actually see a traditional process model where you can have determining of specifications. Then the procurement organization also goes in and work with selecting suppliers, of course, heavily into the contract. And then we go over into the more ordering function of ordering, expediting, follow-up, and etc. And you can see here there's a little bit of difference between the US and the UK around how you determine the scope of whether we are talking about procurement, buying, so forth. But the importance of procurement is very heavy, as you can see here. The purchase goods and services as a percentage of cost of goods sold, and you can see here some very high percentages. Retailing up at 60 to 85%, computers 60 to 80. So there's a heavy amount of cost that is being controlled by the procurement department. And naturally so, they have gained much more focus lately, especially now that the company has been doing a lot of outsourcing. That meant that a lot of much more activities is now being procured, and so these percentages are not getting smaller. They are to some extent actually getting bigger. So what we can see here is the challenges for managers, how to manage our extended enterprise. And that we will go through this entire course to really get some solid answers towards how can we actually, as you can see here, value add and thereby also adding more profit to the company by and through the procurement department. Here's a small little Dupont model where you can see that they have a RONA of 9.9%, and if you take the same view and then reduce the purchasing materials from 60 million by 2% down to 5.8, the total cost goes down to 98.8. The income before taxes increases to 6.2. The margin increases to 5.9, and at the end of the day, the RNA goes up to 12.4, which is a massive 25 percentage point increase by being able to reduce the purchased materials and services by 2%. So there is a what you can save in procurement to go straight into the bottom line and be a strong increase in the RNA for the company. New development in purchasing. Buyers are getting more stronger. There is this global sourcing is coming up. We are understanding that better and better. Supply integration models. You will also see that throughout the course. Early supply involvement. We will dive heavily into that. And there's just so many activities going on that is putting on even more focus on the procurement department, because we have come to realize that they can be a strong player of making a profitable company. So in conclusion, in short, purchasing represents a business area which is being confronted with many challenges and changes, but without a doubt, these challenges put purchasing in the spotlight of the business. Thank you very much.